Motocross Championship on speed. Here is Tommy Hahn working on the part-time Kawasaki rider and making the move on him. Ricky Dietrich. Dietrich, a great run. He was in 5th, but he just yielded to Hahn. So Hahn is into the top 5 of the number 48.
Yeah, an interesting battle here because Dietrich right there, who he just overtook, was the fill-in for Tim Ferry on the factory Kawasaki. Yeah, that big factory rig. Villopoto's missing from there. Ferry's out, so yeah, why not put somebody on the bike? Doing a great job. And then you got Thomas Hahn right here, who's had some good finishes so far in this series on the privateer ride, going, I'd like to beat that guy. That'd be kind of nice. And it looked to me like that half a lap or so when he was working on the pass, man, he really turned it up a notch and has actually gained a little bit on the next rider in line.
Yeah, Hahn had an off one in Moto 1. He was 35th. Had some trouble there, but basically he's been around the top 5 in every other Moto this year, and now he's into the top 5 again. Hahn is his first year on a 450, and he raced the lights class for a couple of years. Now they call that the 250 class, but he's always said he felt more comfortable, would feel more comfortable on a big bike, and he's proving himself right now for sure. And the mechanics are pumped up too on that Canada Motorsport Kawasaki team. They're a privateer team in the sense that they don't get all the good stuff that the factory team gets, but they do get support from Kawasaki. And with Villopoto out, Hahn would actually be the top-ranked Kawasaki rider in the series. So it's a good thing they have those teams.
Right. Well, it may not be all the good stuff, but it's good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah, he's doing great. And you know, I remember watching him come up through the amateur ranks with Josh Grant. You know, those guys were battling each other, and Josh Grant in this moto sitting clear back in 24th.
Wow, and look, he's about to go a lap down, like you're saying, and that's what you're afraid of with Josh Grant. He's fast, but you never know with that guy. In his history in that 250 class, he's got some moto wins, a race win, but you never know what you're going to get. Meanwhile, let's give you our Geico top 10 replay nominees. That's Tyler Bowers going over the bars violently on the first lap. That was Josh Grant right in front of him. Then check out this one entering the sand section. Trying to get out of the sand section. Ouch.
Robbie Rayner just... Yep. It didn't look like he tumbled. He just stopped.
Yeah, they call that the long dart. The body just hits the sand and stops. Luckily, the sand's at least a little bit soft. So Alessi's got everything going his way. Not only is he in the lead, but he sees that Josh Grant, one of the guys who'll be battling for this championship, is now a lap down. So Mike's feeling good. And we talked to Mike quite a bit before the series began. Everyone kind of figured he would be one of the riders battling for this championship. I don't know if people expected him to be dominating quite like this. But as far as the preparation and the amount of training Mike puts in, well, he should be doing this kind of thing. Mike Alessi works and trains as hard as anyone. Let's get to know Mike Alessi for this in-depth feature.
Going into the the 09 motocross season, I'm focused on myself, doing the best that I can and not worrying about anybody else but Mike Alessi, and that's it. And just going out there, getting great starts and being up front and doing the best that I can and being safe the whole weekend. Yeah, when the guys say, they get 10th and, whatever it is, they're content with that. It seems like they're content with not being the best. And for me, I want to be the best, and I want to show everybody that this year I can do it. I can pull it through and win the championship and be that guy holding the #1 plate at Steel City.
Well, for the moment, Alessi is the one holding the red plate. That means he's the points leader in the series. That lead will only get bigger if he holds on to win this moto. You heard in that bit there, Alessi talking about riding his own race. A lot of hype between the battle with him and Villopoto. Those guys went to war as amateurs. They battled in the 250 class, and Mike did his best to try to avoid any of that, and it's paying off because now that Villopoto's out, Mike can just keep on riding his own race. It's not like the air is out of the system saying, well, who am I supposed to challenge now? He wasn't thinking about Villopoto in the first place.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what else is going on on the track. I mean, he's got so much of his own focus is gassed on that fire even more by the fact that he's always in the lead. It doesn't really know or care what's going on back there behind him. And look at Tedesco. Speaking of starts, he got the worst one you could get, and he's working hard.
Yeah, he's up into the top 10 right now. Tedesco, who lived in Texas for a little while, actually originally from New Mexico. Now he's part of the Camp Carmichael outside of Tallahassee, Florida. Spends most of his time there.
This probably feels a lot like one of those days, I mean, I'll bet you there's some Wednesdays, midweek rides that those guys used to do back in the day down there when Ricky was winning everything. Hot and humid, went like this. Kind of late in the day where the track is rough and coming apart, and you're just like, man, I don't want to do this, but if I do this, it's going to make the weekend better.
Yeah, so Tedesco has come from last to inside the top 10. We'll see how far up in the rankings he can go. Mike Alessi, a 26-second lead over Chad Reed. We'll have the conclusion when we return.